7 steps, 5 steps, 7 steps of understanding the delusion, 5 steps to have a remedy, another 5 steps for the realization, and we had the 3 steps of 4R: remind, recognize, repeat, and revise. And today we have the 4th one. You'll be surprised that if you contemplate and reflect daily and start living according to these simple and easy principles, you'll find that there are only 4 steps. There are only 4 steps. So 7 steps has one particular word. Why I am saying you have to contemplate and reflect. What is that word? You see, we meet having different age group, have different challenges at the physical, mental, emotional, professional, family level. Everyone is different and unique. But at the same time, the same principle applies. Hammer the delusion, move from ignorance to wisdom, and you live your life of peace and happiness. So I categorize this text into 4 groups. I told you 7 steps. It has only one word. Can I give you a hint? You have to think of it. Buddha has given one word for it. Remedial steps. Buddha has given one word for it. So the more and more you contemplate and reflect, you will discover, oh, it is so easy. It has taken so long. Why? Because we have to make a slow and a steady path. So 5-step remedial step, there is only one step. One word for it. Another 4-step, 5-step of realization, one word for it. I'm not telling you today, but you think of it. And another 4 steps. The 4th step today gives us another level of perception, another level of awareness. Bhagavad Gita Kinchidhita Gangajal Lavkarnika Pita Sakradapiyena Murari Samacharcha Kriyate Tasya Yamenana Charcha Bhaj Govindam Bhaj Govindam. So Bhaj Govindam, obviously you have recognized the Bhaj Govindam means that I should recognize that potential in me, that awareness which recognizes that peace and happiness are my essential nature. How many hours? We meet hardly 3 hours every week. After that, you are living with these simple and easy principles. We have many people joined in the very beginning and then people have left. Now ask yourself that why people have left. Maybe because of ego, maybe because of attachment, maybe because of, say, so-called fully busy. Now, can you tell me that when you are relatively free in your life, are you free at the age of 5, 15, 50, 60? Now, we are never free. Is this the life we are living? Anxiety, starting from, now we have, Christina might be treating ADD in children, ADHD. It starts from the childhood and it continues throughout the life. So when you think of this, should I continue to live in that kind of a life? Sometimes anxiety, sometimes reaction, sometimes, that life? So compared to this life, then only you become a seeker. To become a seeker is not easy. Because I contemplate. Now, every day there is one or another form of anxiety, reaction, fear. So this verse gives a couple of metaphors. First metaphor, it says you study Gita. Gita is one of the most important texts of Eastern wisdom. So he says a little study. A little study here means the little understanding. What is that little understanding? I am suffering because of delusion. A simple step. I suffer because of delusion. Terry is not suffering because she is not able to speak. Sometime. Do you see that? To understand and to realize that, we need a consistent study. But little study is required. She has been attending the sessions in spite of her challenges. So then the second point in this verse says that, metaphor. Ganges river is considered the holy river. So here metaphorically it means we should take bath in discernment and dispassion. We allow the mind to take bath in discernment and dispassion. So delusion as an impurity is gone. Third, so when the discernment, and the third point, what is the third point? If I say, third point, a sense of detachment. I was born with detachment. I should leave this world with detachment. Oh, my son has left me and I'm in pain. Yesterday someone told me that, I'm in grief. Sense of detachment, metaphorically. And the fourth metaphor, there is an extreme challenge in the human life, that is the fear of the death. So what is going to happen? That very fear of the death is reduced and ultimately it is gone. Every day you wake up not because of the fear of death, but a joy of immortality, that I am ever free. I am born free and I am ever free. This is the message, a small message in 4 words. Look at it again. Let me explain it again. Little study. You can understand delusion in one session, intellectual understanding. But why the master expands this topic of the delusion, so that we can understand how the delusion has entered into our personal life, into our professional life, into our social life, into our family life. That is what we have studied. So little study means that I have to see the delusion 360 degree, where the delusion has started. When I wake up in the morning until I lie down on the bed, there is no delusion. Just imagine you have no delusion at all. Only when you wake up until you retire to the bed. Will you have anxiety? Will you have fear of death? Just ask yourself, will you have fear of death? So let us study. And the drop of the Ganges water. Mind is constantly thinking. So I understand mind can think in the line of discernment and dispassion. Mind can think in the line of delusion. That is the only thing. You're not doing anything. I should teach him a lesson. Judgmental. What I have to teach? Let the world teach him a lesson. A point of dispassion and discernment, and a point of being judgmental. How long it takes you to get rid of anxiety? Tell me. After understanding, now we can understand the simplest way. So that is why my mind, it means that I allow my mind to take bath in discernment and dispassion every day, every hour, every minute. And then see what happens in your life. That is how our great masters used to live their life. And the third point, that now the sense of detachment is not there. Instead, the sense of offering. I offer my life for the service of others. You have offered your life to serve me, and I have offered my life to serve you. That is the point of dispassion. In every interaction, can we think that there is an opportunity to evolve? There is an opportunity to evolve. So once you have these 3 points, now think of it. You have to link it. That as such, there is no fear of death. You understand now clearly. Because of the delusion, I claim that I am the body and the mind, and then I will die one day, and then I have a lot of desires, and that is why I have a fear of the death. Now I don't have a fear of death. It's gone. It's gone. Now see the opposite side. Who doesn't have a fear of death? You are 5 years old or 10 years or 20, 50, 80, 90 years old. What is the cause of it? We have already covered it. 7 steps, 5 steps, 5 steps, and 4 realization. I told you that I categorize this text, all the verses, into 4 groups. You have to find out what exactly is the one word Buddha used for the 7 steps. And then I'll give you the different word. This is the entire life of delusion, a non-seeker's life, and the other's life. Now, the fear of the death. As long as I am attached to the fear of the death, we have already covered. If I am the body, there are 7 factors of I am the body. There is a false self, there is a secondary self, and other steps. So the master is pointing out a little study, a little. Simply you take bath in the discernment and dispassion means, it's metaphorically, how beautiful it is. I take bath in discernment and dispassion the moment I wake up in the morning. You don't take bath in the discernment and dispassion when you wake up in the morning. This crazy mind is going to complain you 100 things. I can bet you. Think, contemplate, and reflect. And the sense of detachment bombards this mind with millions and millions of the thoughts. So this verse also conveys that I don't argue and struggle with my own mind. I'm living in discernment and dispassion. I'm living in the sense of freedom from the attachment. Freedom from the attachment means the emotional dependence, intellectual paralysis. And the life changes. What life changes? I start living in higher awareness. What is this? What is the result of all meditation? That I live at a higher level of awareness. where I see I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the attachment, I am not the death. And from where it is coming? Just because my intellect, we are self-aware human beings, we have a choice. So why we say intellectual paralysis only for human beings? Because that intellect has a free will, it can make a choice. Other living beings cannot make a choice. Tiger will remain tiger throughout the life. And I gave I gave an example before. Perhaps you remember the tiger jumps onto the tree looking for a prey, but that tree is full of fruits. So you see the difference of the self-awareness of the human being. I am hungry, I see the fruits. So my immediate job is to get the fruits. But a tiger who is on the tree full of fruits looking for a prey, he does not have a choice to eat the fruits. Same thing, we always have a choice. I have a choice to fall into delusion. I have a choice to fall into dispassion. And if that does not happen, think of it, that does not happen, what happens? Then even a little illness causes lot of problem at the mental and the emotional level. I have seen a lot of people, they have a little pain in the physical and they make it so big. I think you are also aware of the hypochondria. That sense of false illness takes over. And the true example is Terry, who has been attending the session in spite of those challenges. We are consciousness. Challenge is there in the body. So if we don't live that life, there is definitely, then we suffer from illness. There is a lack of vitality, getting caught in the cycle of suffering from sensory indulgence to the attachment. We have a lot of mental challenges every day. The world outside is going to offer you millions of challenges every day. Your honey doesn't talk to you in a better way, and then you are into anxiety. Your son doesn't talk, you are unnecessary. But a little of discernment and dispassion helps you to live in that peace and happiness. A little cold and cough causes you a lot of challenges. So you see that we start living in totally a different world of that wisdom. Otherwise, we are in the state of delusion, confusion, and we don't have a time for contemplation. We have personal challenges. We find the inner turmoil, lack of lasting fulfillment. We have professional challenges, and we start blaming others. There may be unethical actions also, but professional challenges because of the delusion that my boss is responsible for my problem. Social challenges, we find the social challenges. The mind creates those challenges due to the ignorance. We have challenges with the family relationship. Think. So, 5 steps, the remedial steps that I have to sit down intellectually, I have to find out false assumption, I have to challenge those false assumptions and the wrong notions in my life. That is what we did under the 5 steps of remedy. And the second step is the satsang, consistent listening and learning. And then I contemplate and reflect so that I can digest these simple principles, followed by the practice. It needs to be done for some time, but until the time comes, your mind continues to live into that state. For example, I can give you, you wake up in the morning until you retire to the bed in the night, you don't have any pricking issue at the mental, at the thought level, at the intellectual level. You have challenges, you have problems, you know how to solve it, but it does not make you fall into the delusion, it does not create any reaction. There is a status quo throughout the day. And if it continues for about a week, you have achieved that. Not even a small issue, in spite of many challenges that you have. That is the importance of the satsang. And in the remedial steps, I specifically mentioned discernment, dispassion from delusion to duality, and the false to the real self. And the fifth step is the summary. What is the summary? I work on the mind, instead the mind works on me. Anytime you find, so who recognizes the mind works on me or I work on the mind? It is the power of the intellect. It is my self-awareness. That is why we say mindfulness is nothing but paying attention. And then we have a realization. Realization means that now you strengthen, you have a strong conviction. The intellect, if the intellect does not have a conviction, it will not follow the principles. And to have a conviction, I have to contemplate and reflect. I have to be regular in my practice. I have to accept the outer challenges. It will come every day. That is the nature of this entire universe. You cannot control your honey's mind. Honey's mind should remain peaceful, welcoming, loving. No, not possible. You have only choice to your own mind. I have a choice that I should not be impacted and affected by anyone in the world. That is what the dispassion is. That is what the master is saying. So when you do not have these three factors, you have a sense of realization, did my mind think of the fear of the death today? No. And so that is why there is no anxiety. Why there was no anxiety? Because there is no delusion as such. Why there is no delusion? Because I applied the remedial steps. I'm putting it logically. It is 100% possible. It has been made possible by hundreds, thousands of masters in the journey of the self-discovery. Why it is not possible in my life? My master used to say, you can worship, you can meditate on the Buddha, but challenge yourself. If Buddha as a human being has reached to that state, I also, a human being, must reach to that state. That is what the Eastern wisdom says. We all have the same potential. So in case of realization, we understood that mind now lives in wisdom. Because mind lives in wisdom, you don't have the anxiety throughout the day. You don't have the fear of the death. The second realization, we did it how 7 factors of the body make us crazy. That is extremely important to understand. Anytime you have sense of anxiety, reaction, fear, duality, and a conflict, look at it. Is your false self communicating with the universe or the world outside, with the people, with the relationship, or it is your real self? You have to use your intellect, my friend. Third realization, outer change is not required. We have already discussed in detail. Recognize the hypocrisy of our own mind. We all have certain level of hypocrisy in our life, physical level, mental level. So every time you are going into the world, you challenge what is inside me that is also outside, or what is outside I have a fair perception, fair analysis, or I have an unfair analysis. That causes the hypocrisy. And the fifth one, knowledge of the self, not the rituals alone, can bring the freedom. So ultimately, it comes down to only one thing, that am I into the self knowledge or am I into the false knowledge of the self? Am I living with the false self, with the wrong notion, or am I living with the real self? If you are living with the real self, you are always free. You are free here and now. Whether you say it's a pure consciousness, you can label it as a real self, you can label it as a peace consciousness. Huh? Jesus named it as love. Love is God. So in Eastern wisdom, we don't stick to only one thing. Oh, love, it's okay. So you go to the church, you are ready to bow down. You go to the Buddha, you are ready to bow down. That will help you to understand that we are not religious, we are really a spiritual being. So then comes the 4R: remind, recognize, revise, repeat. That is what I said. And at least this you can do at any time. Repeat, revise, check you live in discernment and dispassion before any action in your life. Am I responding? Am I thinking? Am I speaking? Am I acting out of the dispassion and the discernment? I need not to respond so fast. I have enough time. People are going to listen to me. The second, until the real self is revealed, do not stop, continue the journey. That is what we have to remind. Oh, today I had a moment of anxiety and reaction. Oh, it means I forget it. I have to continue the journey. That is the life of a seeker. And the third one, we realize daily. Third realization today, I categorize them into this: a little study. Little study, you just remember yourself which out of the how many of the 7 steps has caused me the anxiety reaction today. Just ask the question, find out, categorize them. What is the remedial step I have to apply? Now let me do the practice and find out the change. And then repeat all these 4 categories and you will see the life is going to change. So this verse conveys that even a little of your study every day. Here it means also a little reminder. Little of a reminder. Reminder of these small, simple, easy principles can help me get rid of the fear of the death. So in other, metaphorically, you can say fear of death is the extreme fear. Others are secondary level of the fears. If someone has insulted or humiliated, these are secondary level. So I can get rid of the fear of death, I can get rid of these anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict easily. That is another message this master is giving. Little study, taking bath in discernment and dispassion, which results into a sense of emotional freedom and intellectual paralysis, and the fear of death is now gone. Today I don't have the fear. We are deluded And we don't have a fear of death because I forget. Yesterday I have a friend who was saying that, what you did in the New Year's Day. So, I had 2 packs of whiskey. That is another way to forget the fear of death. So you have very good. Is it not good? I said, no, it's wonderful. Next year you should take 4 packs of whiskey. I need not to talk to them. You need not. Think. I'm neither advocating nor against anything that you have to think of it. So close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Place, position, and the posture. Do you see that I bring a subtle changes in the practice also? So maintain your awareness and attention on these small changes, but it has a very deeper meaning. Place, I become aware of the surrounding. One of the greatest challenges our mind faces is the surrounding. And in that surrounding, we put those people whom we claim they are near and the dear ones, and the mind constantly picks up the pain from them. So that is why I say that place here means the surrounding at this moment. And in that surrounding, there should not be any point of pain, coming from situation, coming from relations. No, you are totally free. That is what I mean by surrounding place, position of the body. So position of the body has a lot to do with our emotional state. Oh, it has to do with my emotional dependence on the freedom? Answer is yes. Somewhere deeply it is attached to the body. Realization, body has 7 factors. And the posture. The posture where you sit is comfortable and it makes your mind carefree. Now see that these steps used to take 10 or 15 minutes early, very early stages of our journey. And now it takes only 1 or 2 minutes. You think, you contemplate, you reflect, and you are there. But we will continue with our mantra, Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. If you don't remember the Sanskrit verse, you can say in your mind, may there be happiness for all. But then you do not stop there. Your intellect contemplate and reflect. I'm seeking happiness for all. Why? How come it is possible? I am such a small creature out of the 8 billion human beings. And then the revelation comes. Oh, peace is our essence, happiness is our essential nature. So now how the intellect reflects. So it means when I meet a person, I see that happiness is their essential nature and my essential nature. So I become a seeker. No, but if one gets angry over me, obviously he lives in delusion. So your level of reaction also comes down. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. If you don't remember the Sanskrit verse, it's okay. Remember the in your own language. same explanation can be given. The peace is my essential. Now you see what happens. You might have thought, I believe so. So when you are saying the peace is my essential nature and the peace is the essential nature of everyone, that sense of you loosen the hold of the delusion. Out of the 7 steps, you may loosen the hold of attachment, or you may loosen the hold of your emotional dependence or intellectual paralysis. Mind gets awakened to it. That is why contemplation is required. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. At this moment, in this position, place, and the posture, don't I feel the sense of completeness coming from within? First, we should pay more attention to that sense of completeness or wholeness from where the word holiness has come. Instead of complaining through our own mind, I have a sense of incompleteness because of money, because of beauty, because of body, because of situation, because of relations. 1,000,000 examples. That mind is full of delusion. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham. Let there be an auspiciousness for all. My friends, understand, when you contemplate and reflect on this mantra, fact is that you rise in awareness. Fall in awareness is delusion, rise in awareness is dispassion. So don't ever think that, by what will happen by thinking. You just keep on thinking and see what happens. And we continue our purification of the mind, looking deep inside the forehead in the space. There you gently drop Om Shanti and then start breathing into the rib cage. Gentle, short breath. No movement in the body is there. The body is place, position, and posture. Finished. Like a statue. And in that you continue breathing. Om Shanti continues. And you already remember endurance, resistance. If there is a resistance, it is in the mind. Who endures the mind? Who experiences the changes in the mind of same mind? So the mind in delusion perceives these 3 factors differently, and that causes the delusion. It perceives resistance. It says, no, I cannot do it. I'm helpless. I don't want to do it. And here you have already seen, if the Terry can do it, everyone must do it. But it doesn't mean believing that you don't have any major problems at the physical level. Just gentle, as if you are playing with the breath, you are playing with the Om Shanti, you maintain the stillness in the body. Stillness in the body, being comfortable and carefree, keeps you rising in awareness. Recognize the changes that is taking place. maybe some sense of absorption of the body, some sense of relaxation, tingling, and the numbness, freezing of the body. They are good changes, so you need not to worry about it. And if there is any resistance, you endure the resistance. And what is that endurance and resistance in between? It's a recognition. You see, the intellect recognizes. Intellect says, okay, mind, you're resisting. Mind, you're saying that I cannot do it. Mind, you have been doing it. Let us do it. And that comes the endurance. You cannot see the endurance. It begins in the intellect. Just continue breathing, quick, short, gentle breath. Body remain in the state of stillness. I'm repeating the instructions so that your mind lives into that state of awareness, my friends. Inspiring you. Continue. No, I cannot do it. Mind says, and intellect says, oh, you are doing it for the first time. You can do it. Come on. So first you say it and then you continue. Continue the journey, Om Shanti, breathing, stillness in the body, place, position, posture. So here, when I say the place, your mind is not caught with any person in your relationship at this moment. Your mind is relatively free. Otherwise, the resistance will occur. Mind recognizes, acknowledges the changes in your experience taking place and is fully aware of the resistance that you have and endures the resistance. You recognize resistance and you overcome that. That is the way to take over the mind. That is whatever step of realization. Or the remedial steps. I take over the mind. I work on the mind. Continue. And stop this breathing, become aware of the flow of the breath, pay attention to the flow of the breath. We have already understood whichever flow is less, you are paying attention there. Today also we have crossed that barrier of 9 minutes. But we have to go for 9 minutes each breath. Someday, someday we will do only the practice. We will not have any talk. So now instead of you are aware of the flow of the breath, so either the 16 segments works to take over the mind, or even the nyasa that you had been doing, that also works, depending on the nature and the state of the mind on a given day. So let us follow the breath, make your breath little deep, silent and slow. So we are engaging the mind. Every time you inhale, first you expand your belly, followed by the rib cage. You contract your belly and the chest while exhaling. Every time you inhale, you move the mind from the crown of the head to the tailbone, simply singing your mind, Om Shanti. So Shanti reaches to the tailbone. And now again you exhale deep, silent and slow. You start singing Om Shanti at the top of the head. It is like, setting the mind on the cruise. Om Shanti. But if the mind raises any objection, it means we need little more practice, that is all. With awareness, with knowledge. Om Shanti. Your mind is moving on the spine. You're just aware of this spine, or maybe movement is in a straight line. The journey is to keep the mind, maintain that awareness. That is all. And obviously, when the mind moves along the spine with Om Shanti, you may have very deeper and unusual experiences. You just accept it. And now leave this step also. Move the mind in the cave of your heart, equilateral triangle. I'm going to change that also. So move the mind on the side of a triangle, clockwise, anti-clockwise, dropping gently Om Shanti. So until you find this thing, means the mind, mantra and the side syncs together. That is the moment you simply push the mind with the singing Om inside the cave of your heart. Then you become aware, mind seemingly stops. You drop Shanti and do nothing. So that do nothing, but awareness is there. So you can recognize this self-absorption. So for a non-seeker, the mind returns, jumps outside. For the seeker, it remains absorbed. Very little difference, but very big. You are not the doer. That is what the self-absorption is. So there is no point in your system or inside your head that claims the doership. Claiming the doership is the ego and the mind and the intellect associated with the delusion. If it is not there, we are living in a higher awareness. Well, if the mind jumps outside, return again to the triangle. Again, Om Shanti on the side of a triangle. Find a sink. Once the sink is there, you can push the mind once again. So do it casually. Don't make it conscious. Oh, it's casually you're doing it. Oh, I lost touch of it. Okay, no problem. At this stage, the seeker is completely natural and casual. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Pay attention in which state you are in at this moment. Can that state continue throughout the day? So it means the inner state continues there and the outer challenges can easily be met. Bring your both the palms on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We will share our experiences. Samir, you just run away from the session, so first I will take you. How are you?
It was very dark, and it was like that a dark curtain fell on all the activities of the mind. Means a picture was going on, thoughts were going on, a black color curtain fell on my all the activities, and it was nothing was there in.
Yeah, it's a very good metaphor.
Whole session there was I don't think that there was any thought in my mind. I was just looking at the blankness. That was it.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful, good metaphor. The black curtain fell on all the activities. What it simply means that I'm not the doer. That doership is not there. So if the doership in the mind is not there, the delusion is not there. Whatever I'm saying, you may note down and you have to contemplate and reflect and find the validity of it. I'm not saying on my own. It is all from the journey of Eastern wisdom. So when you have that sense of black curtain, you say black curtain simply means that I'm not at all, I'm not the doer and the experiencer. So when I'm not the doer and experiencer, there is no question of delusion. It's a very higher principle we are going to take up. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. The practice for me today was inspired by the tiger metaphor, and what it had me realize is that the tiger instinct is like our mind. It just automatically looks for prey. But the awareness that one would have being in the tree, seeing the fruit, is our consciousness, and that's where we really need to live, because that's where we have unlimited potential as human beings. So that was my practice today. Thank you.
Beautiful way to explain it. That is why I appreciate you all, because you are absorbing these principles. The more you absorb these principles, it becomes yours. Yes, that is one way to separate it. It is the consciousness which is all pervasiveness, and the mind is limited, instinctive, impulsive. It only perceives what is very limited. And that is why it is instinctive. Consciousness cannot be. All pervasiveness is there. And then that the intellect can make a choice of it. This is what this master is talking about. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. The mind is completely inspired by this lesson, and really knows that we're complete. We're complete. There's nothing. We're completely complete, at peace, full of love, limitless, and every human has that exact same essence. And they may not recognize it, and but it's still there.
It is
so,
still.
We see that in everyone, and the mind jumps to the opportunity to know that what activity that we do, what behavior we show, what words we speak are not really about us. They're about something. They're about this consciousness that lives through us and with us.
Beautiful. Yes, sir, your mind was going to the core principle that I am of the nature of peace and happiness. What else? The rest are the details. The rest are the details. You see that we don't notice, today I'm into anxiety, yes. Last time, yesterday. Before that, day before yesterday. And so I had a moment of anxiety every day, yes. In situation, in a relationship. Now I don't ever think of it. I don't reflect it. How long it is going to be repeated? So just opposite of that I am of the nature of peace and happiness. That is the beauty. Our masters have laid down these principles and discovered that. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good, thank you. You said in your talk we should think before we speak, not answer immediately. And although what other people say should not impact us, but what we say impacts other people. And we don't want to be speaking from our ego.
Yeah.
We want to be speaking from a higher place.
Yes. That is what David and Jerry and even Samir spoke of it. I should be speaking from a higher place. That means the consciousness. And I can tap that consciousness through the intellect by making a right choice. Tiger cannot make a choice. I can make a choice. So that's why tiger always attacks. And then we fall victim. Then we say, no, I have a lot of problems. You are right. Perfect. That's another way of reflection in our life. Beautiful. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. Deep meditation, equal breathing, awareness at every point.
Beautiful.
Case at the end with some lazy, slow thoughts popping here and there and going away.
Beautiful, yeah. Initially, those thoughts were active. Now we have a lazy thoughts. Means what? They cannot impact me and my life. We should live that kind of a life. Where these thoughts are, they are lazy. Let you come and go, I don't care. That is beautiful way of giving interpretation. How are you, Brandy?
At the beginning of the meditation today, you reminded us that we can move really quickly into the meditation compared to maybe the past. And you've said that before, but today it helped me kind of frame the way I answered you on Monday about, you asked if my life was changing, and I said I didn't know, but I may have misspoken because I can get a hold of mine pretty quickly now compared to the past. And I think that's an indication of the change that you're talking about.
Yes. I used to spend 10 minutes on making your body comfortable and your mind carefree. I used to give instructions on how to be comfortable and how to be carefree. And just I make a single statement and I move forward. And you still are able to maintain that steadiness. And your still mind continues to follow the practice. So obviously that is a change that I notice in everyone. Yes, yes, that is how these sessions are done. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. During today's talk and meditation practice, I could feel almost like a light switch between doing mode and being mode. And then you mentioned doership. And, I noticed on days when we have our lessons, I think I'm in being mode, but when I arrive to session and, I can realize, oh, I'm not, that I was in delusion because I'm really not. I'm in doing.
Yeah, Christina, that's a very subtle level of your perception. Sometimes our mind gives a false perception that I'm in a being mode and still I'm in stress. And she used a beautiful word. There is a being mode. So when you do the last step of the practice, last step when I say your self-absorption is there, it is basically I'm talking of the being mode. I'm not talking of the doing mode. So the idea of a doership is always in the mind. It is a creation of the mind. It is created by the I thought. I say, I am speaking. Come on, who is this I who is speaking? It is the lips speaking. Lips cannot say that larynx, lungs, body. No one can say that this is me. To know that, we need a higher level of awareness, and that is why we are attending these sessions. You see that I cannot say, who is this I who is speaker? We take it casually. So when you take it casually, you fall into delusion. So that is the difference between the being and the doing, being and the doership. How are you? Beautiful sharing of your experience. I believe you all are evolving. So, how are you, ever? I don't see you, Terry.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good. It's like that I have always a choice between deciding to be dispassionate or to be delusional. And this will decide that I will be free or I will limited inside. So,
yes,
I was like, it was free and peaceful.
Yes, you're right. Why? You're right. Why don't you understand that, I'm good. Now you see that I'm delusional. But from where the delusion has come from, that doership. So I created my I thought, which has become an ego, which says, why don't you understand? Now you drop this I-ness. So in dispassion, it says, let me understand also. Now let me understand also. So now you are in a being mode. And that is a meditation mode. Rightly pointed out. Beautiful. I am very happy I'm learning from all of you. How are you, Terry? If Terry is there, it can open. I don't see her video. I see a beautiful picture. You are very beautiful here.
I am here.
You are here.
Uh-huh.
You are relaxed and calm?
Now.
No?
Now.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep on doing the practice.
Uh-huh. I am. Yeah.
He's not able to speak. It's okay. So that is all for today. Thank you very much. We will meet again.
Thank you.